Okay, everyone, it's a happy Sunday. It is the Arsenal Fan Circle, the Sunday show, and we are happy to be here to bring you good news. Look, we've been through it 2 years ago. We were doing podcasts, and we weren't getting good results. But I think it's fair to say, and we'll talk about it, this team has progressed under Arteta and the club. Profiling the right kinds of players, I would say, and bringing in the right kind of talent. That's what it's all about.
It's about the profiling. It's about getting Zinchenko, getting Jesus.
Yeah, getting those players that are going to demand more and more from the team. And we're seeing the benefits of it now. Stan is here. Let's bring Stan in.
Yes, sir.
The plane was on the runway. It just started the move, and Stan was running, and we put our arm out to grab him, pull him in.
Right? He drove in like in the Fast and the Furious. I can picture Stan being that one. The Dom Toretto just open the hatch for my guy.
Yes, indeed. All right. Listen, Arsenal Fan Circle here. Pull up a chair, everyone. We're going to have a good couple of hours maybe talking about this one. London is what, Mahir?
London is red. Can you answer me this question? What do we think of Tottenham? Huh? What do we think of shit? Tottenham. Great start. Lovely to see Stan. Tony in the building. Our host as per usual. And yours truly. Lovely, man. Lovely. Henry Baker. Good evening, Gooners. What a result.
Helen is here. Evening, Gooners. What a result.
Helen.
Good evening, Helen. Always nice to win that home derby, Tony. Get that one in the bank, right?
Yep. It seems like that's what we do every year. We win at home, they win at their home. Hopefully that stops.
Let's try.
Hopefully that's
Stan. Let's try and flip the script on that one and maybe win at their place in the spring.
Yeah, and you can see the reaction of both managers after the game. You can see the real difference in the reaction from the managers. So yeah, it's important that we get that away win as well when we go to their place. But fantastic yesterday. I mean, that's what you want, right? That's exactly what you want.
Yeah. Was that a performance similar to that Man City one on New Year's Day?
No, I don't think so.
Really? You don't think we played as well as that game, Tony? You're holding on to your lot. You're holding on.
Which one? The one that we nearly won.
Yeah. Yeah, I would put it up performance.
I don't know. It's kind of a whitewash. That one we played hard, but we weren't clinical. So, in my opinion, I wouldn't personally say it's on the same level.
Okay. All right. Tony and Mahir don't think it's on the same level. I kind of think it's a performance similar to that City game. What do you think, Stan?
Yeah, I thought it was a really good performance from top to bottom.
Yeah. And, the Man City game, we played really well. We put it up to them. We were deficient in a couple of key areas. Now, look, yesterday for 95% of the game, we thought we played really well. I actually feel we're playing progressive football, and we'll get into that a bit later. But yeah, I don't want to get into that debate right now, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Scan your boarding pass, hit the like button, please, everyone. It really does help the channel.
And subscribe so you can have a nice.
And subscribe if you want more of this stuff. And you haven't had it in your life, come back for more. Subscribe. Stan, listen, the lineup. Okay, let's get into the lineup. This for me is a clear indication of our first choice lineup. I'm looking at the fullbacks in particular, Ben White and Zinchenko. It seems to me they're our fullbacks, our first choice fullbacks, right?
Well, it seems to be. I'm not sure on a personal level whether it's a choice that I agree with. I just feel that defenders, for me, I like defenders to be able to defend first. That's to be the main part of their game. Everything else for me is a bonus. It's all right if we've got a fullback that can get forward, but I just think that I want my fullbacks to be able to defend first. I feel that Tierney and Tomiyasu are better at that part of the game, but it's the manager's choice and it's working.
Yeah,
100%.
Hopefully, I think there will be situations. Hopefully, there's situations, especially away from home, against a top 6 team, where we do adopt the Tomiyasu and Tierney approach. But playing at home, trying to be. The Sunday Mass was delivered a day early, says BX Gunner. So,
yeah, boy.
I hear you.
Can I just say one thing before we start?
Yep.
One thing before we start on this review. I'd just like to shout out to all the United supporters for being so trash. We knew that was going to happen. Where are you with your big mouth? Come outside. Clip that. Come outside. Come outside. Come into my DMs and everything, please. Please. Whatever you guys got to say now. You and your big mouth. Oh, that wasn't a red card. Oh, Chelsea not.
That's at Gunded News, everybody. At Gunded News.
Yes, at Gunded News. Please. Bring it. Bring all that. I'd love all that United supporters come
what
through.
What do you think of the fullbacks, fullback choices, Mahir? And yeah, look, 6-3 for United puts a little bit of better sheen on them than 6-1.
Oh, man, I wanted it to be 8-0. I wanted it to be 8-0 because then they can't come outside as much as I'm asking them to come outside. I'm sure you guys saw the clip of come outside Tottenham supporters, but it's the usual, you know. We go, like Tony said, like Stan said, we go there, we lose by them, and they normally come to our house and lose. So, hey, man, it is what it is. Shout out to everybody in the chats as well. The usual Arsenal fan circle family.
Mahir, can you blow out some red smoke, please? Yeah. What were your thoughts? The choice of fullback, Mahir.
Oh, sorry, choices of fullback. I loved it. You know what? Saliba is the Maybach. I call him the Maybach, Stan. I call him actually the Maybach of centre backs at the moment because, oh my God, the guy is so cool. Did you guys see that pirouette, man? When he took it, and I was like, oh my God, okay, there's 2 attackers. I think it was Son and Richarlison, or Son and Kane. I was like, oh, please don't give it to Gabriel to make a mistake or for the keeper to make a mistake. And he just takes the ball and pirouettes around and just skips past another and just gives the ball away. I was like, oh my God, this guy. Oh my word. And Zhevchenko in the midfield, my goodness. Lovely to have all the boys in the squad, man. Tierney, Saliba, Gabriel. I mean, I got no complaints at all. It was just an absolute stunning thing to watch.
Yeah. Arnie is asking, you always say top 6 team. Are you putting Spurs in top 6? Unfortunately,
no.
I mean, consistently they're there, Mahir. Whether we like it or not, they do finish in the top 6 in recent years. We have not played any top team yet. Well, I think
I was going to say
tongue in cheek now. That's tongue in cheek. That is tongue in cheek. Facetious.
Steven.
I feel a notwithstanding coming soon. But anyway, Tony, I want to get your thoughts on our starting lineup plus the fullbacks, Tony.
Yeah, I said Thursday I'd rather see Zinchenko because we needed him to attack.
Mm-hmm.
That part was right. I'd still rather see him where Xhaka's at, have Tierney back there, but Arteta's not going to do that. Because Xhaka's not going to get hurt and he's not going to take his baby out of the squad. On the other side, never convinced by White. Tomiyasu shuts players down more. You could see in the first 30 minutes they were getting to us on that side. On their counterattacks, they were due for a score before the penalty there. But I'd much rather have Tomiyasu. I'm like Stan. I'd rather have defense first. But Zinchenko helps us with offense. Like I said, it'd be better if he's pushed up further up the squad, up the pitch, being at the left side in midfield, but he's not being played there. So we have to make do with where he's being played at.
Helen said, don't get too comfortable on top, Gooners. Listen, we'll talk about that a little bit as well.
Well, we might as well get comfortable. We've been there since the start of the season. Like get a big cushion and everything, like a beanbag, get a beanbag in and just sit on that.
Was it true Conte was crying? I'm not sure about that, but when
There was a stage where his face was scrunched up. It honestly, it was like the sad face, man. You might as well play, that sad violin music, and then have. Oh, I'm actually gonna clip that. That would actually be a clip. That might get me viral.
Yeah, but
Might get us enough money.
Conte's face is always scrunched up.
yeah, I think that's just.
But it looked so sad. He looked so sad. Stan, Tony, his face was like. I think he puckered his lips also. I was like, oh my god, what little baby.
Reddy said, "Where's that Spurs fan with Jack Grealish DP who comes and trolls the chat?" I think that's why not.
Oh wow!
I think why not is an Arsenal fan. I think Reddy.
Oh, why not? Yeah, no, man. Why not the Arsenal fan?
Why not? Might have to be taking a holiday for a couple.
Why not
weeks.
is the one with the Jack Grealish avatar. Now James Fernandez is a Spurs fan. We haven't seen him in a little while. So
yeah, James Fernandez is a Spurs fan.
We hope James is doing well.
Part of the family.
Do we? Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Apart from that result, you know what I mean? Let's check in on him, Stan. See he's doing okay. Helen said, Liverpool are coming for us next weekend. Listen, we'll take that. We'll take that as it comes next weekend. But let's not feel overconfident, but we do feel confident about that game, right, Stan? Let's just talk about it real quick.
At the
Let's
moment,
just see a break and say Liverpool 65 times today. Let's just see if that happens.
Liverpool. Can I just get it out of the way, notwithstanding? Get a lot of things
I just want to know what you have under that Arsenal shirt.
Haven't seen why not in any of the chats. He was here a couple of weeks ago.
He was here recently, yes.
How
was Partey yesterday? Oh my goodness!
I'm sure he'll be here before the end of the show, right? He usually slides in sometimes in the middle.
Exactly.
100%.
Stephen's here. The Arsenal misfit. Great performance by the back. Only blemish was Xhaka causing the penalty with his poor ball control. Fair enough.
I think he redeemed himself, though. He did redeem himself.
So let's talk about that breakdown for the penalty, right? Were we all saying, I was for about 10 seconds before I was like, no, F-U-C-K, no. Because you could just see all of these mistakes and we were a little bit 6 and 7 stand at the back.
Yeah, and Gabriel Megalegs, right? I really like Gabriel Megalegs, but he does have something inside of him, doesn't he? That he has there's a problem sometimes.
Rashness.
There's something that he has that, he's very good at making up for his mistakes as well. He's very good at doing that, making a mistake and getting his toe up and making up for it. But I just wish he wouldn't make those mistakes initially,
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's still young. He's still a young lad. He's still a very young man and has still got a lot of coaching, to be coached into him. But these mistakes are sort of, rearing their head on a bit of a frequency for me with Gabriel Megalegs. So
it started in midfield with Partey, a player getting a goal side of Partey. He had a chance to do one of them professional fouls, Tony. But Partey didn't do that. The play continued to Granit Xhaka. Granit Xhaka didn't control the ball well, didn't pass it to Gabriel well. And here's Gabriel left in a position where he's got to take a nibble, Tony.
That's what happens when you see Xhaka further back the pitch where he was. At that time, as I said earlier, I saw a goal coming anyway because they were getting to some counter attack. Like you said, Partey should have probably tugged on the shirt, got the yellow card.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know that we're analysing this, but does any player ever have a 100% perfect game?
No.
What I mean by that is that could just be a misplaced pass, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So sorry, Tony, I didn't mean to chew you there. I just feel that. Do you know what I mean? Sorry, go on, Tony. I kind of lost my way a little bit there, but I just feel that sometimes.
What you're saying, Stan, is no team has a perfect game. Even City today, they beat Man United 6-3. I'm sure they're going to say, well, we conceded 3 goals we shouldn't have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Every team's going to have mistakes, and Tottenham are going to take advantage, Tony, of any mistakes you have at the back.
Yeah, like I said, you could see the goal was coming for a while. Probably starting at about 15 minutes. They kept doing good on the counter attacks.
Yeah.
Us with a little bit too high of a line. That's one thing we're have to get away from pretty soon because teams are going to start getting on
That free
us.
kick. That high line for that free kick. I didn't want that high. That, early doors.
But
Go ahead.
overall, I just saw it was coming. I don't think it was against the play. There's a couple individual errors there. I like Gabriel being aggressive. I mean, he didn't have much choice there. It's either let the play go or go in for a tackle, and win one for a tackle.
Here's the thing with a central defensive partnership. I'll go. I'll put this out there. There's always got to be a physical defender, and there's always got to be a player who has some pace, who can sweep up at the back as like a last resort. And that seems to be the makeup of a central defensive partnership. So is Gabriel going to be the one who's going to go to ground and make those tackles? It seems to be the case. Is Saliba going to be the one who's going to stay on his feet, anticipate situations, and clean things up at the back stand? That seems to be the case for me. So Gabriel is going to be seen this way, and Saliba is going to be seen that way.
That's a very good observation. I think that's spot on, to be fair. Obviously, the way that they approach their games. I think you're hitting the nail on the head. I think it's going to be very rare that we see William Saliba going into tackles where he goes to the ground. Doesn't seem to be his way. Whereas Megalegs, very different build, lower center of gravity, seems to sort of like, that's the way he sort of tends to play. He's like our last wall of defense. If it's got past Saliba hasn't taken care of it, then the last wall of defense is Megalegs, right?
Yeah. Or they could pivot off of each other, Tony. But for me, I think Gabriel has probably. People are saying Gabriel's been in the Premiership now for his third season. He should be able to know better and have more nous about him. But I just believe he's that physical central defender that every team needs. Look back at Ferdinand and Vidic under Man United in their heyday. You had Vidic, who was probably making the tackles, and Ferdinand looked like a Rolls Royce at the back. I think you're going to have the same thing with Saliba, looking like the Rolls Royce, and Gabriel, the one making the tackles, Tony.
And center backs develop a lot later than other players do. They hit their prime a lot later. A lot of them 27, 28 years old before they start hitting their prime. Some of them even into their 30s. So he's got plenty of time to get better, learn not to make those type of challenges. But whether he did or not make that challenge, I thought a goal was coming.
Yeah, and I think looking at the age of the centre backs that we have, it's good that they're going to be, growing. They're all going to be growing together, right? They're all going to be learning each other's game inside out. I don't see anybody moving on and being replaced anytime soon. So it's a good aspect to have that in the team. Everybody's growing sort of like together, getting to know each other, getting to know each other's games. It's exactly what you want in a back four or your defence.
Yep.
Give me a bit more than that, Tony. Give me some more than that. Yep.
Let's try to see where we're here with, but he disappeared too.
You got to help me, man. I was up till 4:00 this morning. I had 4 hours sleep. I've had 4 hours sleep, man. I was up having a one-man party.
Stan messaged me. He said, I've got to stay up. I got to stay up and talk about Arsenal here today. So thanks for being here, Stan.
I wouldn't miss it for the world, mate. I mean, it's a North London derby, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? If you can't have a good chat with your pals about the North London derby, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Arnie said Xhaka should have cleared the ball. These are the things that are happening to us, and I'm going to get into this a little bit later. But let's analyze the game. Gabby at the back is slacking with silly mental lapses. I just think he's probably being the one who's been asked to be physical at the back. Partey should have fouled Son in the build-up to the penalty.
Well, the deal with Gabriel, though, he's on an island because everybody else is way up the pitch for the most part. You got Zinchenko. He's not there to protect him on the left. You got Saliba, who's usually drifted to the right side because White's so far up the pitch. They're kind of a big island there. And you have to go in for the challenges, whether people like it or not. I don't think he's made that many mistakes. And if he has, we're still in first place and we're not conceding many goals. So
All right, so let's remember this conversation when we come back. I want to talk about this a little bit later. Let's get into the game. We'll stay on the penalty stand. We knew that Harry Kane was going to slot it away, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Bread and butter, innit? You know. It'd be nice to see Ramsdale save a penalty at one point soon, you know, just to see that he can do that, have it in his locker. But for me, it's always a case that you always expect your strikers to score or get the ball on target in a penalty. And for me, I don't expect goalkeepers to save penalties. If they do, it's a bonus, you know. The striker's got to put it on target. If the goalkeeper saves it, it's an added bonus.
Yeah,
I just would like to see a goalkeeper never move for those ones straight up the middle like that. Then you can block it.
Yeah.
I do wonder what kind of percentage you'd be looking at if the goalkeeper just stayed right there, Matt, here. Didn't move left, didn't move right, didn't dive, but just waited for that ball.
What? You mean stay right in?
Right in the middle, waiting for the penalty right down the center. Xhaka threw Gabriel under the bus. He had absolutely no time to react. He had to either make a tackle or let him through and score. Yeah, definitely. So that's the bad part, right? And we'll come back to this a little bit later. Let's remember this conversation. Stats reflected our dominance as well.
Do you want to go and take care of that, Tony?
No, let's raise in, mate.
Oh, okay. I thought somebody had hit the electric fence on the perimeter.
that is autism. That is autism, and the kid's having a bit of a meltdown.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Tony's gaff. His lodgers are making a run for it.
I hope Mark's all right. Right?
Listen, he'll be okay in a few minutes. He'll get over it. Good evening, gentlemen, from the assembled. Thanks for being here, everybody. Enjoying the warm glow of a 3-1 win. Listen, so we talked about the penalty. Now let's get into some of the good stuff. Mayer, I thought we started the game off really well on the front foot. In the first minute, we combined to get ourselves out of trouble and on the front foot going forward. So I always look at the first few minutes of the game and I think, yeah, we're going to play well today.
Absolutely. I mean, the word I like to describe it, the hijinks, you are allowed to stay on your feet and make a tackle. Okay, yeah, but it just depends on what type of situation you're in. With regards to how we started off the game, I thought we were relentless. Like, we really did show that we wanted this win. And it means a lot. I mean, especially to the fans who, without the club, I mean, it would just be an empty stadium with two teams of 11 playing against each other with subs. There would be no atmosphere, no nothing. And I quite rightly say, I mean, like, even we were just so dominant. There's no other word to say. Dominant, relentless. Because we just kept going at them and kept going at them and kept going at them. And I was thinking to myself, okay, this with the way we're starting, this should easily be 3-0. 2-0 at least.
Yeah.
And as you guys do know, my prediction was actually, I originally said 3-1 on my video for the game, the preview. And I switched it because I wanted to be more realistic. So I said 2-1. And look what happened.
I went 2-1 as well. The assembled tongue-in-cheek Arsenal still haven't beaten the big team. Stan, we started really well. We had that 3rd minute Saka cross. Martinelli took a shot. Shot was tipped onto the post. I thought after 8 minutes, the Spuds had some possession to take the heat out of the game a little bit. On the 12th minute, they had that high line free kick that we played the high line on. Ben White played everybody onside. We got away with one there. And let's remember Ramsdale's save on that one. And then we come to the 19th minute. We get the goal through Thomas Partey.
Yeah, that was my missus got up to watch this one with me. We was watching the game around about 7:30 in the morning over here. We sat on the sofa, and just before the Thomas
Wow.
Partey goal, when we were sort of like working the ball, trying to find space, passing it back and forth just outside their penalty area. And my missus said to me, why do they keep doing that? It's like, what is it that they're doing? And I nudged her and I just goes, watch. And then literally a few minutes after that, there was that space and Partey just rifled it in. I goes, that's why they're doing it. They're trying to drag the Spurs players all over the place.
Yeah.
They don't know who they're supposed to be marking. It's all getting in a tight area for the Spurs players. They're tripping over each other and they're just trying to find the hole.
Sure.
They're just trying to like thread the needle. And I mean, we've seen Thomas Partey like put balls in fucking orbit, haven't we? So I'm always a little bit nervous when it comes to him, you know what I mean, to like pull the trigger. But what a goal. Almost took the back of the net off.
You can see where he starts it out. He strokes it into the top right-hand corner, and he starts it out with some curl outside the post, and it comes right inside.
The bend on that.
Oh, my goodness.
And you could see that this seems to be that was a very well worked goal, and I saw a few other times in our build up play when we were trying to do a similar thing. You know, it's very very similar, and Partey was finding himself in a very similar area. But in one time that we did it, instead of going to Partey, the ball got lobbed over to the back post for a header. But the way that we work it around the opposition's penalty area and just take our time patiently. I like seeing that, because if the opposition hasn't got the ball, they can't do nothing to you.
And this is the best way if you're going to have a low block and you're going to be allowed. These are the percentages that managers set up on. Tony, I'll go to you. So Arteta is playing percentages. We're going to keep possession of the ball, and as it has been 7 times out of 8, we're going to win games by keeping possession and trying to keep possession. Conte lives off of, the recoil. They will come back and defend in a low block and try to hit us on the counterattack. So that low block will allow some space around 25, 22 yards out for that shot. And that's the percentages Conte is going to accept. Try and beat us with a long shot. And that's what happens,
Yeah, we see Gabriel doing it all the time. He's always threatening on those long ones. Xhaka usually sends as many into orbit as Partey does. But we're getting a little bit more clinical on those. We need to be more clinical on those because we're still not clinical enough. 22 shots, only 3 goals. They get down to 10 men. I'd still like to see more goals.
Yeah.
But Partey's shot was great.
Don't worry.
See more of that from him.
When we were 3-1 up and they had a man sent off, I had your words ringing in my ears. We need to score more goals. Tony be saying we need to score more goals right now. Stan really said the game also showed a mediocre manager, Conte, especially after the red card, and some fans wanted him at our club.
Yeah, I'll hold up my hand if I wanted Conte.
That one as well.
Jay, I was wrong, fam.
They got a Champions League game on Tuesday, right? So I think it was for them. I think he kind of conceded that. I think Conte kind of, at a certain point in the game, conceded that he wasn't going to get nothing out of it and was probably going for a little bit of damage control, but also thinking to himself, well, I've got a Champions League game now on Tuesday. I'm going to have to start resting players. There's no point leaving Son on for the rest of this one.
Yeah.
We're about 20 minutes ago. Son came off. Yeah, he did 4 substitutions.
The way we discuss each.
Well, that Partey goal from distance. That Partey goal from distance was quite something. You know what I mean? And that's what was needed to break the low block stand.
Yeah, and he took it with the inside of his foot as well.
Yeah.
It was a nicely placed curling shot. He didn't just hoof it in with his laces.
Yeah. 1-0. And listen, let's talk about Partey for a minute, Tony. He really is the fulcrum of the team. 5 players behind them and 5 players ahead of him. So everything goes through Thomas Partey, and you could just see the way he positions himself around the field. Listen, I'm pitching right now, Tony, for the Don Juan man in the match, and we'll have your thoughts a little bit later. But this is my pitch for Thomas Partey right now, and put my vote in right now for Thomas Partey. He's always seems to be there, available defensively and going forward as well.
Yeah, you have on the other hand, you have Sambi. I think he's better going forward, more leading towards attack. You really don't have that other. You don't really have another option there that can do a transition between the offense and defense.
Yeah,
Partey does that well. Hopefully, he can stay healthy. Still wish we went out and got another person in that spot. I think we'll need it. Long season, things are to get more congested. This month shows it, 9 games. You'll probably see that in January, March. It'll be just as congested. So overall, Partey did great. One of his better games. We're finally starting to see the player we wanted to see, but we've only seen him for about 3 months be the player we wanted out of 2 years.
Yeah.
So
I go back and forth on this one, Tony. We know he's going to play 25 games in the league for us if we're lucky. But we also, he's so important to us. Do we maybe start limiting his minutes a little bit, such as Lokonga coming on after 70 minutes, and then Partey's not getting 90 minutes every game? You know,
I still think you need to look at subs at 60 minutes, not 75th and 80 minutes.
Yeah. Stan, where do you stand on Partey? You know, he's so important to us. We don't want to get rid of him, do we? Because he's so good. But we're only going to get him for 25 games this season, you know?
Stats don't lie that we do very well when he's in the team. And it's, you know, he's made some good progress, right? I mean, it wasn't so long ago that he was trying to hobble off of the pitch in the North London derby, and Mikel Arteta was blocking his exit and pushing him back on, you know, and then we give away a goal. So I think for him, I think that was a nice little bit of redemption for him in the North London derby. He's been at the club long enough to know how important these games are. You know, every player wants to get picked for that game. Every player knows how important it is to the club and to the fans. So, you know, I was quite refreshing to see him come full circle and make a good contribution in a North London derby.
Yeah,
and you can see that. You can see the way as well that when he scored the goal, the way that Xhaka ran over and was celebrating with him, and the expression on Xhaka's face, very authentic. It's very authentic what's happening in the camaraderie with this team.
Yeah, listen, that's a great point. The unity that the team has, the supporters, the club, the unity amongst the players, and the huddle when we score a goal. You know, it's huddled up. You know, and I think it's a good thing. Okay, you can emphasize.
Yeah, but it took us 5 minutes to huddle up there. Xhaka kept telling everybody. It wasn't natural.
You can huddle up and say, let's concentrate, but if you can see the goal or a penalty 10 minutes later, are you concentrating? That's the question I'm asking. My nephew's here, Man City. Zach.
My nephew's here too.
Man City,
Liverpool supporter.
We're losing to Liverpool next week. They may catch us in the end, but we're probably not going. I don't think we're going to lose to Liverpool next week. City are going to have to wait a little while to be on top. If indeed that will happen, you know. Sam, my friend, how are you? I'm still buzzing from the match. Yeah, listen. Shout out to all the Gooners worldwide who have a win to go to work with on Monday, especially local Gooners. Wow. Those who have work colleagues who are also Tottenham supporters. Now you got some bragging rights. Ray, without Haaland's input, assist and goals, United 1-3-1. Haaland is a real problem to whoever City play. Yeah, he's going to be a problem to us as well. We'll get into that a little bit later.
I still can't believe how many people said you want to do good in the Premier League. They're just
they were just crazy. Haaland was brought in from Dragon Ball Z because he's an android. It's Android 17 or Android 16, man.
Does
What?
Conte also drive the team bus? He is good at parking the bus. What a banger. So, yeah, Stan,
What a bang.
are there any other thoughts from the first half? We talked about the penalty conceded, Gabriel, Partey scoring the goal. Well, my thoughts were Gabriel makes this mistake, and here's another game, Mahir, where he's got to settle himself and get himself back
Yeah.
into the game. Now, he did this against Fulham as well. So,
But like
I've
our
got-
guy said,
I've
it's
got a lot
just
of trust
being
in
irrational.
Gabriel. I've got a lot of trust in Gabriel Magalhaes he makes
I do
mistakes,
too.
but he's not going to crumble from that mistake, right?
No,
So I just-
I just he should just calm down a bit, man, because he's making too many irrational mistakes. Where certain channels and certain people are saying he's got a gene in him, GENE. But I don't want to say the word. It's like a clown gene, basically,
All right.
where he's got it in him to make a mistake
Jersey.
in a while.
Jersey gene, maybe.
Yeah.
Something like that.
No, Bozo gene. Bozo gene. So now you guys will know what channel I'm watching also. But anyway, that's aside from the point. He should just calm down and make. But I think Gabriel's like the total opposite. So we should be okay. And I mean, Gabriel's still young as well. So we got Saliba there. Saliba's the total opposite, the cool, calm one. Oh my God. So I believe in the future this is going to be a superstar lineup, eh? These guys, if they can continue with the way they're going.
Stan, if we're talking about the redemption of Xhaka, and we'll get to Granit Xhaka a little bit later, within each game, Gabriel seems to have a redemption story. He did it against Fulham. He got pickpocketed by Mitrovic, came back and scored the winner. In this game, he conceded the penalty. There was an incident on 40 minutes where the ref actually has to talk to Gabriel. Erdegaard has to come over and tell him to calm down a little bit because the red mist is starting to form a little bit. What are your thoughts on Gabriel? He seems to collect himself and go again. You know what I mean?
He was. I tell you what was going on yesterday. He was allowing Richarlison to play Richarlison's game. If Richarlison knows that he can get into your head, and keep muttering to you and like giving you a bit of the needle, and you stop concentrating on your game, you've just now gone over and given yourself up to Richarlison because that's what he does. He's looking to put you off of your game. A lot of players do that. And probably with the both of them being Brazilian and speaking the same lingo, who knows what they were saying? Who knows what they could have been saying to each other to get each other wound up? And I think Gabriel Magalhaes, he fell for it and he lost his focus. Thing is, though, with this Arsenal team, we're in a place now where if we do make a mistake, I don't get worried too much now. We make a mistake, I can see how we're playing. I can say to myself, we are still going to come out with something here. Whereas previously, if we made a mistake, it was like that was the end of the game. We'd have to wait till the next game and try again. We'd start the game, we'd play well, do really nice things, but if we fuck up and made a mistake, we couldn't get our heads back into the game. It was almost all over.
And that comes down to the profiling of the right players as well, Stan.
Yeah, exactly. We've got enough about us now to like make a mistake and go, okay, well, we'll just keep going.
Yeah,
we'll just keep going. And we believe in ourselves. We believe in what we've got. That we know that we're going to dig our way out of it. So okay, we made a mistake. It wasn't on the script. Doesn't matter.
Let's catch up on a few comments here as we've been talking. They've been coming in. Safe to say, Partey hits that shot 1 out of 45 times. Probably about right, that ratio. Maybe hopefully it's 1 in 20. That was a game-saving, save by Ramsdale. Things could have gone different had they scored early doors. So fitting the Partey saved this banger for the North London derby. That's what we needed. Come on, you Gooners. Don Juan's in the house. Russian Tony is back. I think that's affectionately said. Partey definitely created another North London derby highlight. Great to see people in here, familiar faces. It's nice to see us scoring some goals from outside the box. It helps loosen the opposition up to work inside. And Stephen, that's something that Arsene Wenger wanted to work the ball into the box more. I think Tony Arteta's allowing players to take shots from outside. We saw Fabio Vieira do that against Brentford. Saliba as well against Bournemouth. And now we have one from Partey.
And several from Gabriel. You see a couple of times a game, Gabriel takes a couple shots from out there, usually real close. So definitely a change.
And good. We want to have a mix. If you got low block and they're going to compress into their own box, then you have an opportunity to shoot like that. BX said this game really saw Arsenal dominate Spurs in a way I haven't seen in a long time. Now, we've seen this last season. We beat them 3-1. Aubameyang, Emile Smith-Rowe, and Saka scoring. We did a 3-1 here at home. We need to translate that away from home as well. Hoping it's a Gooner. I hear nephew.
No, unfortunately not. Basically, my whole family, I would say my brother-in-laws, my nephews, are all Liverpoolians. So, no, not Roya, nothing.
No, I have seen people asking about Danny D, but I'm not sure who is Danny D.
Danny D.
He seems to be in a lot of the
Top
podcasts.
End Skills Challenge.
Top End Skills Challenge from BX Scudder. I want a heartfelt apology from Tony about Xhaka. I'm waiting, Tony.
Nope.
Not going to get it. Tony doesn't hand out apologies very easily.
I still want to see Zinchenko in that role. Sorry.
You might get Tony to say you had an all right game. 2 goals, Tony, from Granit Xhaka, and quite a few assists as well.
How many has he sent into orbit though, right? How many?
He's got more goals than Mo Salah right now. Well, we hope Danny D can be found.
Liverpool screwed up there. That's all you have to say about Mo.
Hey, I'm not allowed to speak about Liverpool.
Guys, by the way,
$400,000 a week for a 31-year-old. No, thank you.
Ooh, I'm gonna have some words. You know, as much as I love Helen in the chats, and as much as I love some of my cousins, you know, my cousin Vicky, they are big Liverpool supporters. I got nothing bad to say about them. But there's one cousin of mine. I'm waiting to shut his mouth up next week. Ooh, I was hoping they actually lost to Brighton, so I could have made a video, especially dedicated to him, because I just really do not like that guy. A big-headed, big mouth. My goodness.
Mayor, I think you're going to have that time coming in the next few months or a year, because cycles come in football. And I believe our cycle is coming now. We've seen Liverpool, and if we can get out of this cycle what Liverpool have gotten in the last 5 or 6 years, I'll be very happy, because we'll have a league title, we'll have a Champions League. We all want that Champions League, right? And we'll have a couple of cups if we do the same. If we can do the same.
I just want bragging rights for one game. Whoa! Why are you shouting? I just want bragging rights for one game, and that game is being played on Sunday.
Yeah.
So I can tell this cousin of mine to hush his gums, because he's one of those. You know, it's like the United supporters yesterday, the United channels. I'm sure you've seen. Oh, that wasn't a red card, and Chelsea this and Chelsea that, and this and that. Yeah, can you keep quiet, please? Like, dude, there's no reason to shout. Oh, Stan. Yeah, he's back. I was gonna say now, Tony. You know, some of the supporters, but their mouths are too big. Their mouths are too big for their heads. United supporters yesterday talking about us, talking about Chelsea, and they got absolutely walloped today. They can't say nothing.
I can speak more and more about Arsenal, because I see it on the pitch. You see that the team are going to back up your confidence in what you're thinking. You know what I mean? BX Gunner said Jesus out there like a general for Arsenal, and Mikel a real leader through action. Helen said the reason why I asked that question about best managers having little funds to try and change things, or whether having unlimited budget is ruining the game.
I fucking hate this shit.
Are you okay, Stan?
I'm sorry, I thought I was on mute. Sorry,
We were worried about you now,
I was
man.
just, I'm answering a work message on my text. Sorry, and it's just a bit fit. Sorry about that. Please continue.
Nerdscape is here. Always good to beat the scum. Listen, smiles and faces. Arsenal fans worldwide, we've got some smiles and faces. Tony, it's always good to get a good result, right, Tony?
Yep.
We can just do
Always
this.
good.
Steve, Sam said, I'm
What
good.
about?
Steve.
This is it.
Hope you're well.
do.
I'm just really busy with work lately and spending time with my old dad who isn't well. Okay. All right. City are not missing Gabriel, Zinchenko, Sterling, that's for sure. I want to have a discussion about that a little bit later. I've been looking back. And Tony, maybe we'll have an opportunity for you to host a little bit more, maybe a Thursday night if you want to do Thursday night, Tony. Like looking
I
back,
like doing it.
huh?
So I like doing it.
We do. I was looking back at the one we did where you asked me if Arsenal, if we're contenders or pretenders, you know. So we'll have a little bit of a chat about that a little bit later as things go on. City are not missing those players, that's for sure, Helen. Partey needs limited features to get the best out of him. And we'll get into the second half as soon as we get a little bit caught up. Henry last season, the best manager in the league was Patrick Vieira. He brought in 15 new players and got them on board with a very limited budget. For me, Pep was even close. And, you know, Tony and I were talking a little bit about Vieira yesterday. Tony, you're trying to say he's had a tough schedule, a tough fixture.
Very tough schedule.
I don't think they've been that bad. They've played City away from home. They've played Liverpool away from home. And they
I know, but that's why they don't have that many points because they've played all these
games.
stuff.
2 games out of 8. What about the rest of the games? You know?
They played us, aren't we, hard?
We have a future. Yeah, we're good. We have a future YouTube star bottom left. So you're putting credence on the Arsenal, right? Yes. All right. Partey, when fit and in form, is very pivotal.
YouTube star. Somebody commented, one of the family.
It's been a struggle to keep him fit. And that's going to be the key. Maybe limit his minutes, Sam. Give him 60 minutes. We're up 2-0, 3-1, something like that. Stan, did you see where Ollie was during the penalty incident? I couldn't see him.
Where did they start doing that with a lot of players do earlier subs?
Which one is Ollie? Liverpool are there for the taking next weekend. I still keep waiting for Liverpool to step forward, and you know they've got Alisson, who's been good for them at the back. We are long overdue a win against the dirty Scousers. Sam Greenwood, they will cancel the game because of COVID. Banter for Liverpool.
Are they even testing players anymore? You don't even hear about any positive stuff.
Now we can switch on.
BX Gunner said I had to go to work last night and they gave me a bit of a boost. Yeah, going to work on the back of a win like that, BX Gunner. False positive FC. Your favorite city in the UK, we know will be tough for you to take next weekend.
Yeah, stay away from Abu without smoking, except for Zahid by.
Runner-up FC.
I say sit next to me rather. I don't want to blow smoke or get you sweaty like cigarette.
The muting. Everybody's forgetting the mute button here, Tony. Sam, I agree. Liverpool are struggling. I'm not even sure they will make top 4 the way they're playing. You keep waiting for them, Tony. No way to get put a run together.
I thought you were going to mute me Thursday when I was getting excited. Ray was threatening the mute button.
I don't remember that. A nice one, Sam. Favor from the bottom, for sure. There are some misfit. It's Klopp 7 years. That is haunting him. Some people are saying it's the Dortmund thing as well, coming back around. But
yeah, like a curse.
We can take.
But he was lucky at Dortmund though. Like I don't see the whole 7-year curse, guys. Maybe who's a Liverpool sport? Maybe Helen can tell us if it's like kind of real or sort of real. It's the 7
I
years.
don't think.
It's called they
don't
let
think-
their players get too old.
Yeah, Liverpool fans.
Yeah.
They're not buying into that. They didn't look at their midfield, and they've got a gulf now between the first choice midfield players and the
Let's
next.
see how many times Ray says of Liverpool.
2 before Liverpool.
Gotta carry on, Tony. If you
3
actually
before
watch the ball, it was Xhaka who made the mistake. Nerdscape still doesn't rate Xhaka, but he's doing good things for us. I mean, you have to rate that goal that he scored for us. We'll get into that in a minute. Klopp's latest that he couldn't prepare for Brighton properly as they have a new manager. Did he seriously say that? Possibly. I mean, new manager will bring some new ideas for Brighton, but Brighton showed up, and Trossard is vastly underrated, I believe. He'd do a job for a lot of teams, I think. Okay, let's get into the second half. Stan, quite early on in the second half, we score Gabriel Jesus' 5th goal.
Yeah,
Sorry, my dude.
I think it was an absolute miracle that Gabriel Jesus came out of the game without a booking
Yeah.
as well. An
That's
absolute,
amazing.
an absolute miracle that was. And there's another very interesting stat that I heard. Apparently, when Gabriel Jesus scores, the team that he's playing for doesn't lose in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Which is a nice little stat to have.
Couple of thin ones.
I remember back in the day, Liverpool had that stat until the Littlewoods Cup final.
I love you.
Rush, you know.
I was just throat feeding, son.
Klopp's been rattled all season. He's acting weird. People saying he lost the dressing room. Okay, this was a mistake from Hugo Lloris. He misses the ball, squirms underneath his body.
Yeah, that's the one. Ball runs, the ball sort of like goes underneath him, and Gabriel Jesus is very lively in the box. If there's any opportunity going begging, any opportunity he goes begging, he sniffs it out and he's on the end of it.
Yeah. Another one created, Tony, by Saka's shot on the goalkeeper. Rebounds off of Hugo Lloris onto the defender. It comes back underneath Lloris's body and stands right. Jesus has position on his defender, goal side.
Yeah, he always seems to niggle his way in there somehow. I'm not sure how he does it with his body size, but he does it.
Thankfully, as Stan said, no yellow card for Gabriel Jesus, so he should be good for Liverpool next weekend.
Yeah.
Sam says
Tom wants him to pick it up this week, so he'll be out versus Leeds.
Have we got to the bit yet in the second half where
just started the second half.
Where Martinelli found, I can't remember when it was, what period it was, but Martinelli found himself sort of like on the left, sort of like on the wing with 2 players almost in front of the corner flag, and he managed to flick the ball in between the 2 players. Like the ball went between the 2 players,
I remember.
and then he ran around them and collected the ball, and their only option was to bring him down.
That was in the first half.
Oh, was that in the first half? Okay, we didn't talk about that. I didn't know. I thought it was in the second half. I love that move.
Yeah, he just flicked it around, but he almost had enough pace to get past. I think it was Emerson at the time, right?
Yeah.
Emerson was being given a torrid time, so we can talk about Emerson's pretty soon as well. Greenwood said, Sam Greenwood said, I dislike Xhaka very much, but even I have to admit he's far better playing further forward in his new role this season and playing very well. Even Sam will admit that, Tony.
Well, look at later when Steve came to my defense on what I said.
Okay. Xhaka is not playing for us anymore. It's his twin brother, says Arnie.
Stan, before Stan came in, I had a change of name. Stan, I put something by mistake, and then I was informed by the general here on the general here, my general, that I need to change my name. The name was quite funny. I put Xhaka's biggest fan.
Yeah.
Comrade Tony wasn't having that.
No, I said,
Too much.
why don't you change it to Arteta may be out? You know what I mean? That's what I said. Arteta may be out. You can see his banner, his tag right there. You know. So yeah, listen, that's Martinelli, a really nice move. We're kind of waiting for that to be more consistent, and he gets on the end of those balls, Stan, where he's kind of like passing them to himself. You know what I mean? We put the ball past the defender and go around him and try to get your own ball. You know what I mean?
Damn, they're multiplying.
What do you call that? Entourage. Mayer's entourage. Yeah, listen. So Gabriel Jesus, and the biggest part of yesterday's stand might be that Gabriel Jesus did not get a yellow card.
Yeah, miracle. I thought it was nailed on that he was going to pick up a yellow in the North London derby. So I think Mikel Arteta took him off at the right time. You know, take him out of harm's way. Got his goal. We were cruising. Take him out of harm's way.
Will Gabriel be Arsenal's leading scorer come May? Gabriel Jesus will be. 5 goals after 8 games. He's on course for about 20. He might not get to 20, but he's on course right now. Haaland's on course for 65, but we're not going to talk about that one. You know what I mean? All right, so yeah, the Henry slide. It seems like if you score in the North London derby, you got to do the Henry slide, Tony. Aubameyang did it last year, and Jesus did it this year.
Why do they always have to recreate it? Just live in a moment, do something new.
Listen, ready. You have listen. If you win the title, you win the title. You can call it the COVID League title if you want, but you know, I would have rathered Arsenal win the league title in the COVID years as well. You got to respect whoever wins the title sometimes. Well done, Sam. You're not stubborn like the Russian top right there.
You still skipped what the Misfit said.
Where? I have to go back now. I'm indulging you, Tony.
I agree, Tony. Zenny is in that role would give Martinelli more of a chance to work inside. Xhaka can't play off the touch line because of the lack of pace and poor crossing into the box.
I agree, Tony. Zinchenko on that role would give Martinelli more of a chance to work inside. I think Stan, let's deconstruct this a little bit. I think Zinchenko goes inside in midfield. He's not going to hug the touchline. How would that allow Martinelli to come inside? If you have Tierney, you got more chance of Martinelli coming inside for me.
Yeah.
Xhaka can't play on the touchline because of his lack of pace.
They're both heading in the same direction, aren't they?
Yeah.
Really. So I think Tierney works much better on the overlap than having Zinchenko coming inside with a winger like Martinelli, who's always looking to come inside when he can as well. You know, but yeah. I mean, if you're going to put, have we gotten to Jackie yet? Are we getting there?
We're getting there.
Okay, I'll save that next bit then.
Yeah. Listen, I think Martinelli will interchange with Gabriel Jesus. And the only other way Martinelli's going to come inside will be if Tierney's overlapping on his outside. Xhaka always plays inside left, and Zinchenko wanders inside left of midfield. They're kind of different positions for me. Let's catch up here. Okay. Partey pass to Saka. Saka shimmy. Yeah, that's the goal. Squirms into the body. Jesus is stronger than Romero. I thought Romero was kind of lucky not to get yellow cards. There was 2 occasions where he was being physical with Gabriel Jesus. I thought he was lucky on one occasion to get away with it. On the 53rd minute, Jesus has a header wide of the upright. Could have been 3-1 there. And then we come to the red card. So who wants to start in the red card? For me, he doesn't go for the ball. Am I here? The red card. Emerson Royale getting cooked. Mayer's got his hands full.
If you watch what goes on right just before Emerson Royale takes a nibble at Martinelli,
Yeah,
you can see that Emerson Royale is getting berated by Conte on the touchline for something. He's really directing him and shouting at him, and he's not happy with Emerson Royale. And I think that kind of carried on with Emerson Royale, a little bit of frustration.
yeah.
You know? So
Yeah.
if you look at it carefully, you could probably say that Antonio Conte probably had a lot to do with Emerson Royale there. I think the player was really frustrated and being berated by his manager.
And we were watching the game, and you get absorbed, you get caught up in the atmosphere of the game, so you're not looking particularly at that tussle. But if you look at it back, you would say probably Martinelli gave Emerson Royale such a busy afternoon that he was like, I'm going to try and slow him down here. And it was definitely one where he knew what he was doing, right? And he thought he would get away with it. But no attempt really to play the ball. And really could have been an ankle breaker. You go full force at that point in the foot.
Yeah.
You could really break something. Martinelli could really break something there.
Exactly. That Plum Xhaka Hislop on ESPN was saying that it was no way was it a red card. What a Plum.
Yeah. No,
It's all about the intent and the danger in there. You don't have to have the intent, just the danger. It's a dangerous tackle, red card in the story.
Arteta out, he have not won the team on the top. He's not going to beat the team on top, so we'll get into that in a little bit, I think. Yeah, so Emerson Royale, endless. The narrative then, Tottenham supporters, Tony, is saying, well, at 2-1, even Eric Dyer was saying, at 2-1, we could have come back, but Arsenal were so much on top. The sending off ruined the game is the narrative. There's always got to be a narrative when it comes to Arsenal. We can't have done something right on our own merits. You know what I mean?
All these big games, I'd rather keep all the 11 players on the pitch. They had their chance in the first half. They didn't do it. They were getting us off the counter for about 20 minutes there and only got the penalty. That's their fault. They did a stupid challenge.
Yeah.
Dangerous challenge. Get sent off. You can't complain about it.
How about, we had a penalty given against us, which was more harsh in May than this red card. This red card was more warranted than that penalty that was given to Son in the North London derby earlier this year. So there you go. What goes around comes around, and I think a lot of times this fixture goes to serve Stan. The home team wins a lot of the time. I'm just happy we were able to get 3 points.
But how many times have we done it to ourselves? How many times have we been in a game? We're in control of the game, and then we make a really bad mistake, and it costs us a player. Now we're down to 10 men. Do you know what I mean? We can't hold on. We give a good account of ourselves, but the game's ruined. We've ruined it for ourselves. So I understand what Tony's saying about keeping 11 men on the pitch, but if another team is going to do that, then I just say, well, fuck them.
Yeah,
that's their problem. That's what people think when we do it to ourselves, right? There's no one out
there.
But
ours was always so stupid. Luis's were always just lazy tackles. Go in there and try to hurt the guy if you're to get one. Just don't do a lazy one.
It's not our fault if another player commits an offense that the referee deems unsafe and endangers an opponent, right? 00 Slice X said, I know Partey's goal was great, and I think Partey must have had his smoothie great goal there, and very important as it gave us the initial advantage. But Xhaka's goal was my favorite, the striker's finish. So, yeah, we had Partey, a great goal. We had Gabriel Jesus, what do you call a striker's goal, right? Strikers always sniffing for those chances, and the best strikers are always there when they need, at the right place at the right time. And then we had Granit Xhaka, and I see Stan smiling. Mahir, I'll go to you first, and then I'll go to Stan. Mahir?
No, I just wanted to rant about that challenge. How on earth are you saying all of you guys in your complaints saying that wasn't a red card, that wasn't a red card, how on earth was that not a red card and a yellow card according to you guys? How? How? It was an absolutely foul, disgusting challenge that could have broken Martinelli's whole entire bottom of his leg.
So you'll hear some pundits say, "Listen, that was orange." I don't like that when they say orange.
No orange.
You basically
The only orange I associate myself is with Rust.
Red or it's yellow.
That's banter.
It's dangerous and it's reckless. That's all it has to be.
Yeah, I'm like straight red, fam. Stop complaining. You guys gonna complain about every little thing. And this wasn't a little thing, this was a big thing. So stop talking out your ass, basically. And then, we can continue. Sorry about that. And I want to apologize about all the noise and everything, guys. I am Mamu, I'm uncle. And all my nephews and my nieces were like, oh my God, my uncle's a YouTuber. I didn't know that. We're also going to be famous. So they were all bum rushing the camera.
That's okay. I tried to mute you a few times. It's okay. It's all good. We're professionals.
100%. But I just apologize about that, guys, if it interrupts the show, you know.
Well, Stan's an actor, and the acting parlance goes, don't work with animals or kids, right?
That's right. That's right. Stay away from working with kids or animals. They'll either mess up your scene or they'll steal it.
Tony, he doesn't need to extend yet. That's Saliba. They're bantering you a little bit about Saliba.
I've seen it.
Zinchenko goes inside. Right. Zinchenko goes inside right now because Martinelli is already on touchline because of Xhaka. Zinchenko can go outside with his pace and he can cross the ball much better than Xhaka. I mean, I think, Stephen, you're asking players. I think Martinelli can come inside, but I think naturally he likes to stay out there, and I think Zinchenko likes to move into midfield.
You've seen a lot of times that Martinelli's been playing in the middle, and you see Jesus go out on the left. You've seen that 20, 30 minutes, 3-4 games already.
You do see that pivot where they lose their markers or they have to bring a fullback with them. If I was Xhaka, then it was red. If it was Xhaka, it was a red and a 5-game ban. All right, Stan, I saw you smiling a few minutes back. We were going to talk about Granit Xhaka. So have you still got that thought in mind?
I do, because it's been well documented. I've been one of his biggest critics over the years of Granit Xhaka, and to some extent, I think rightly so. And yesterday, when I was watching the game, before he scored the goal, there was another moment in the game where he got himself into an equally good position and took a similar styled shot, and it just went across the face of goal. And I said to my missus, I said, you see, what we need is, we need to bring in a player who can get into them goal scoring positions and put more of them away. Mm-hmm. And he did exactly that. A little bit later on in the same in the same match. And it was at that point where I kind of I conceded. I think it was at that point where I felt myself concede and say to myself, you know what? Xhaka does seem to be a very important cog to this team. And you hit on a point earlier when we scored a goal and they went into the huddle and they were talking, and Xhaka was the one that was doing all of the directing. And it almost looked like everybody was in the huddle. And who was the last person to join the huddle? Did you notice?
No. The
goal captain.
Odegaard.
Yeah. He was the last person to enter the huddle.
Yeah. Right? It doesn't seem like those two get along very well.
And I just thought to myself, you know what? We're at the stage where I just think, Xhaka should have just had the armband. He's the de facto captain of this team, and he is beginning to make himself incredibly valuable. I was saying as well to someone yesterday, right? The redemption of Granit Xhaka would make an excellent TED talk. Teaching your children how to sort of climb out of the jaws of adversity, how to never give up. When everybody says that you can't, you can show everybody that you can. I mean, it's all in there, mate. It'd be a brilliant TED
Yeah.
talk, man. You know,
I mean,
this is the redemption of Granit Xhaka is going to be a tale that we will hand down to our grandchildren on a cold winter's night, sat by the fire. We'll bring them round, we'll give them some marshmallows, and we'll say, "Listen, young ones, I'm going to tell you the tale of Granit Xhaka."
all right. So
He was shit for 6.5 years, and he started playing
now,
further up the pitch.
what can that end with? It ends with something great, right? Maybe winning, maybe holding up a Europa,
Or a red card like cost us
European
the
title.
I think what I'm trying to
the end of
say
the
is that I'm at the stage where, as much as he's been a player that I've disliked for some time, and some people might say, well, that's a bit strong, isn't it? No, I have disliked him as much as I disliked Mesut Ozil. However, he's actually proving to make himself very valuable to the team. And another way to frame it was when I found out that we were going to go and buy Danny Welbeck all those years back, and I found out that it was all real and it wasn't speculation, and we were going to spend money on Danny Welbeck, I was absolutely fuming. Incandescent with fuming. I was going, what are we getting that guy from Man United for? We should be making our own players, not these cast-offs. But Danny Welbeck was a player that, through his hard work, he turned me around.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Well, I had to say, well, this guy, for whatever I might have thought of him, for where he's come from, he's proven himself to me. And I think Granit Xhaka is doing exactly the same thing with me. And it happened, I think yesterday was the moment where I put my hands up and said, you know what? I'm going to wipe the slate clean. You know, I do my thing. It's like I do this, my balance, my scale of measuring is scales, right? Remember? 50-50. I'm back now at Granit Xhaka, where I'm back at 50-50 with him, where for so long I've been on like 90, I can't stand him and I want him gone. 10% I can kind of see what value he brings. I'm now at 50-50, which is a good place to be. It's an even balance.
It's not bad. A lot of presidents keep their popularity. They can win elections again on 50%. Anyway, Reddy said it was surprising to see correct officiating in an Arsenal game. I think we don't feel it as much because those fine margins we had last season, we were winning 1-0 and 2-1. Now we're winning games 3-1 and 3-0 and 4-something. You know what I mean? So we don't feel those. I don't feel like we've been officiated against. That Old Trafford one is the only one that burns in my memory a little bit. Martinelli's opening goal there. Things could have been a lot different, and we could be sat here 100% for the season so far. Reddy said it was, so surprising to see that. Let's catch up a little bit. The thing about Granit Xhaka as well, he seems to be a pivot to progress the ball, Tony. He'll work through the midfield and follow the ball forward and be that pivot to progress the ball and play off of into that left inside channel.
I think he's usually more forward than that. A lot of times you see him ahead of Jesus, and
you see him in midfield as
Allen.
well. You see him in midfield coming back, playing with Partey in the middle, getting the ball off the fullbacks as well. But that goal was a thing of beauty. It almost seemed like a rehearsed, although it probably wasn't a rehearsed move, but the kind of scissor movement that happened there, Stan. Can you remember what happened?
The scissor movement, that sounds naughty, right?
Martinelli takes the ball in from the left, and it gets cut out, or he passes to Xhaka, who then comes from the right across, and then he's got a left foot shot. You can visualize it right now. I see you visualizing it, Stan.
Yeah, it was a great goal, and somebody said it was like a striker's goal, and they're correct. You know, it kind of was very sort of Sheary, Teddy Sheringham-y, a proper striker's goal. And he tried something similar earlier in the game, didn't he? And it just went across the face of goal. He's getting himself into a lot more goal-scoring positions, and he's going to finish this season with his probably highest return when it comes to goals.
Yeah, he's already probably 2 goals now for the season. He's probably got his highest return already, and he's got a few assists in there, Tony.
Yeah, I don't think he's probably gotten more than 2.
Yeah, because of the position he was asked to play in previous years. Now he's playing a lot further forward. He's getting those positions, and that was like a training ground goal.
Well, he's supposed to be a central midfielder. He's not supposed to be an attacking midfielder, which he's playing now.
Box
Did
to
all
box.
those
He's
managers play him
box to
wrong
box,
for?
Tony, isn't it? You're going to find him now popping up in each box now. You're going to, I mean, he pops up and does defensive work as well, right? As I mentioned it before, there's been a few games this season where, you know, I've maybe like, you know, gone to the kitchen to do something. I've glanced over at the telly and I can see there's something going on in Arsenal's penalty box, and it looks like there's going to be a little bit of trouble. And you pause and you're thinking, what the fuck? And then you see a red shirt come wriggling out of the defense and bringing the ball back into midfield. I'm like, who the fuck's doing that? And and it's number fucking 34. And you're like, fucking hell, Xhaka, fair play. And then he pops up in the other end. He's hitting the post, heading wide, scoring goals, getting assists. It's all over the show. And the way that he's doing it really well. He's picking his moments, right? He's having the freedom now of when to pick his moments. When he plays with Zinchenko and Zinchenko moves in field, he slots in at the left back and covers for a little while. Then Zinchenko goes back, he comes and pops back out again. Very disciplined.
Sam said, Russ, give it a rest. Many decisions went our way yesterday, and you have to be a special kind of biased and delusional to see the opposite. I think if you have more possession of the ball, I think as a consequence of us getting better, of course, not living off of fine margins as well, and being better, holding on to the ball a bit more.
And having 10 men instead of 11.
Yeah, 10 men versus 11 as well. The other team have to work more, and they're gonna be forced into making challenges that you'll get decisions off of. The officials have to make the right choices as well and give us free kicks. Really said, someone check on the Sky Clowns, Neville and Keane. They're really positive after Man United scored 3 away goals today. Listen, that's the sheen on a. Would you rather lose 6-3 or lose 6-1? You can say, well, at least you got 3 goals. You know, hate to defend Roy Keane and Gary Neville, but that's what I seem to be doing here. This is the other one as well, Stan. Kane has always got a kick in him. He doesn't get booked for anything. Russ said Kane kicked Gabriel whilst on the ground. Nothing was given. Why, Stan? Because it's Harry Kane and Spurs and the officials.
He's got that England captain's free pass, hasn't he?
Yeah. He's got that force field around him. He's impervious to these things. Richarlison was offside if you put it in the net. Tony, your thoughts on Gabriel and Kane? It seems to be one of those tussles that keep on going year after year.
It's just Kane in general. A lot of times you can see him do diving, never gets a yellow for it. Does dirty stuff like this all the time, never gets a red.
Oh, look, he's not a serial killer, but he does.
No, he's a serial fly catcher. No one ever mentions that. No one ever mentions the amount of flies that die every time Harry Kane plays football. And when he flies, he swallows during 90 minutes. Just fucking
like
it's a lot.
Dumb and Dumber when he's on the bike and he's catching flies. Tim Carey.
At some point, flies are going to have to be made a protected species if he carries on the way he's going, because you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You don't need one of those little electric fly things. Just put Harry Kane out in the yard, running about.
So, Tony, as Stan mentioned earlier, we broke Conte, we broke Tottenham. 71 minutes, they make a lot of changes. All these players that they had offensively are coming off Son, and they're getting ready for their Champions League game midweek.
Yeah, it's what you said do. We should have brought off more players. Up 3-1. They're down a man. It's time to make wholesale changes because we both play in the middle of next week. Us on the fucking Thursday. No more Thursday football. Tired of it.
Listen, I have a feeling, and I really hope I'm right, that we won't be playing Thursday nights after this year. We won't be playing for quite a few years. I mean, that should be the way it is, right, Stan? We're getting better.
I just wanted to comment on something that's going on in the chat box regarding Granit Xhaka. No, it's regarding Granit Xhaka, and I think it was Don Juan who was we're talking to each other, and Don Juan says, I was quite happy when Xhaka told the fans to F off. They shouldn't be booing their own player in the first place. The fans act like Xhaka owe them something after being booed. And really came in and said they were booing Emery, not Xhaka.
True.
And I was talking about this on, I I think he might have been on the last show. I think it might have been. It was either here or on a Bergkamp Wonderland. And I just want to go back to that night, if I may, because I was sat in the pub watching that game. It was pre-lockdown. It was all allowed down in the pub, and I remember it so well because me and my mate Mike, we took the ladies out for some ladies' drinks for that one, and the pub was really full. And as I remember it, when the card was held up for Xhaka to come off, everyone in the pub, they didn't boo. They all sort of done a cheer, like a hey, and it was more kind of aimed at Emery, and it was more that at last Emery's making some sort of a decision here.
Yep.
Right. That's how it was where I was. Everyone, we weren't all going, yeah, Xhaka's coming off, boo. It was, anyone that was making noise at that moment, they were aiming it at the manager. Now,
well, two things, right?
Now,
the other part was that he wouldn't come off the field quickly enough.
Yeah, but I think what happens
because there was 35 minutes left of the game.
If I was in Xhaka's shoes at that moment, though, obviously with the reputation that I would have had around the club at that time and with the fans, right? There are a lot of problems up until that point. Red cards, letting in goals. He's done a lot of that had harmed us. He's obviously a smart guy and he's aware of it. So I feel that if everybody else in the stadium was kind of following the same vein of thought that we were in the pub, and was aiming their vocal noise at Emery, I can imagine how if you're Granit Xhaka, you could misconstrue that of like, are they coming for me? Because he didn't have a lot of credit in the bank. So I get that. And then, like you say as well, once he started coming off the pitch slowly, when we needed to, every minute was precious. Every minute was precious for that in that game. And then he started to, do the old Hulk Hogan, like, the old cupping of the years. Yeah. That's when the direction and the mood changed. Yeah. It then went from people kind of like, having a bit of a beef with the manager to then their focus was now on Xhaka. And then it became the fans and Xhaka, and then he threw the armband off and told us to F off. So that's how I saw it.
And he also told Emery
as I believe it wasn't initially aimed at Granit Xhaka. It was more about Emery making a decision, and people were glad that, at last, the manager's doing something. Because a lot of people felt that he was sitting on his hands for too much time, right? I just wanted to put that out there because that's how I see it. But I do understand how some people would think that initially it was Xhaka getting booed, and I can understand how Xhaka could be like, "Oh yeah, you fucking booing me? Let's have it then." Because I might have reacted the same way as Xhaka. I have a little bit of that about me. If I think that everyone's having a go at me, I can get defensive.
Yeah, but he was being defensive because he's too stupid to put his Instagram on private.
That was the game, Tony. We went 2-0 up within 10 minutes, and Crystal Palace had clawed the way back into the game. It looked like they were going to win it. I think the game ended 2-2 in the end. But at that point in time, I remember it was rain. It was dark, cold, rainy night, and we needed some urgency in our game. And Emery had finally made a decision to make a change.
Yeah, and that was like with 35 minutes or something left. It wasn't just
not only making a change, but bringing Xhaka off, who he never took off at the time. He always seemed untouchable in terms of substitutions. So Xhaka did link himself to the manager at the time, and does seem to be the best student in the classroom all the time. And unfortunately, he got tied in with Emery, but the sentiment was against Emery. And but listen, like you said, Stan, it's been a long and twisting road for Granit Xhaka, and now we're finally getting the best out of him. And 2 goals in the season, 2 goals in 8 games, 8 Premier League games, not bad for Granit Xhaka.
In his 7th season with us.
Yeah.
As I say, Tony, better late than never.
Better late than never, exactly. And listen, if it all ends, hopefully it all ends with a trophy on our hands at the end of the season. I'm
interested to see what's going to happen. Like, as we said earlier on this podcast, all players make mistakes. They're all fallible to making a mistake. I'm interested to see what happens when Granit Xhaka makes his next mistake. He's going to make one at some point, as all footballers do. I'm going to be interested to see whether he's given a bit of grace by the fans, or whether he makes a mistake, which is a mistake where you can quite clearly see that one didn't need to be made, mate. What the fuck are you doing? And you've cost us. You've
And-
cost us the point. We could have won, but now we're drawing. We could have drawn, but now we're going to lose. So I'm interested to see what happens when it does eventually happen.
Yeah. Listen, we don't condone any abuse towards his family as well. That stuff should never be allowed. Xhaka was getting.
You
a lot
shouldn't
of
even really be atting the player in a tweet. If I want to go to Tony, fucking hell, Granit Xhaka is a fucking big pile of shit. I fucking hate him. I can do that on Twitter to Tony, but I don't have to go at
but the thing is,
and bring him in and try and make him see that. Do you know what I mean? What's the point in that?
The thing it wasn't on there. It's on Instagram, which you can set on private. Which who gives a fuck about what the players' kids look like? I don't care about their private photos.
Yeah.
I don't even use Instagram. I'm not even on that platform, man. I leave all that Instagram shit to Kanye West.
Xhaka's awareness of what was
I
happening.
talk to BX on there every once in a while. Other than that, I don't use it.
Xhaka's awareness of what was happening that night was shockingly clueless. You could see the fans' frustration with Emery. How he couldn't is a mystery. There was a little bit of part of it that he was never substituted as well, and I think the fans were happy that Emery saw that Xhaka was the player to be substituted as well. You know what I mean? Mayer said if current Xhaka was playing then, I don't think he would have been booed. He was playing really terribly back then, despite being played week in, week out. Yeah, within the whole team. Correct. So that's Xhaka. We shall see what happens. Right now, it's happy days, right? 7 wins out of 8, 21 points. And we're a point ahead of Manchester City. Tony, that doesn't justify online hatred towards family members. Give your head a wobble. And listen, Tony agrees with you already on this one. Go ahead.
Yeah, but still, you can set it on private. If it was an issue at the time, set it on private, be done with it.
I think the point is you shouldn't really, in this day and age, people should have respect for each other. You shouldn't have to set something on private. This is the way life is now. That the trolls will get to you. I agree. I agree with what both of you are saying.
But why?
It's just a mouse click away for some people, isn't it? Right? It's just a mouse click away. It's so easy to do, right?
Or have one of his managers occupy the account and doing it. It's just, to me, it's stupid sitting there posting about your kids.
Really?
And stuff.
Everyone does. You're proud of your family. He's not just a footballer, right? He's a dad. And how do we know that? How do we know that his children might have a grandfather or a grandmother or an uncle or a favorite cousin that lives in the country that he's from? Was it Serbia or something like that? I forgot.
Yeah, but you can set it up in private where just those people.
Why should he have to? Yeah. Why should he fucking have to? For fuck's sake, you know what I mean?
This is a bigger conversation. We can stop it right now.
Do you know what I mean? How about people just have some manners? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How about people just turn on? How about people just click their manners setting to on? Do you know what I mean?
You can find that in your app settings. It's right there, manners setting.
You know what people are to say, Stan.
Stan, any final thoughts on this game? Erdegaard comes off, Teabag comes on, Jesus comes off, Eddie comes on, our number 14. And Ben White comes off for Tomiyasu in the final minutes.
Yeah, good. I mean, they're the players that need to get some minutes as the season goes on. Somebody like Sambi Lokonga is going to get more minutes during the season just by default, right? Yeah. And then he's not coming back anytime.
72 minutes. Partey comes off for Lokonga. Sinchenko off for Tierney as well.
Exactly. As I say, El Neni's not coming back anytime this side of Christmas, right? So someone like Lokonga, he needs to have minutes so that he's ready. He's ready when called upon. So when you're cruising in a game like that, also as well, somebody like Sambi Lokonga, isn't it good to give him a little bit of a taste of the atmosphere of a Derby Day match? What it's like to be in a cauldron. Sets him up well, for other games in and around the league. So, yeah, happy days. My final thoughts, we smashed the scum and there's nothing more to be said, man. We've done them.
Exactly.
Let's keep the momentum going.
Yeah, I'm dubbing this month the Hunt for Red October. We're gonna go through October. The Hunt for Red October is gonna be the theme, Tony. So let's go get those points. Let's hunt them out. London is red, and Gary definitely did enjoy. So Shout out to Gary. We saw the video footage. We saw the pictures. We need more. We need more video footage. We need more pictures. But I guess
I just want to know all the things he sung to. That's what I want to do.
did he sing the Angel song? I'd be there singing the Angel song.
I want it.
I'm a fan of the Angel song. I know both of you can take it or leave it. But
What's the Angel song?
North
London forever.
Forever.
Oh, that
song.
one. That one they play at the beginning.
Yeah. You can't deny it does get the place moving a little bit, Stan. Every little bit counts and helps.
Yeah. I mean, listen, people seem to be enjoying it. I'm not going to be the curmudgeon that goes, I hate it, therefore no one's allowed to listen to it. Get it off the speakers. Do you know what I mean? For me, it just goes into one ear and it comes straight out the other. You know what I mean? And I'm like, hurry up and get it. I just find the song a bit dreary. I'm really glad that everybody loves it. I'm really glad that everyone thinks that we've got a song and blah, blah, blah. But I fucking hate it. I think
and listen,
BX Gunners with me. I'm not alone. Thank fuck.
Okay. Yeah, listen. There's always a friend in the chat. No matter what your viewpoint here is, there's always something.
BX came out to save us, Stan.
Yeah, I thought I was about to get crucified for that.
Look who came in after him.
Hey, there he is.
Why not?
It's not a Sunday session without my man. Why not coming in? I miss him.
We were talking about you earlier. Why not? And we know you're.
What did I say? I said he'll be here before the end. I guarantee you. And here he is.
Exactly. we love all of our crew here. You hop on the.
Just
flight
let's ask. Why not? Why you've just slid in there and while we're having a chat, get your typing fingers on and just give us. Hey, what was your thoughts on yesterday? Right? I mean, obviously it's the big North London derby. Do you think Mikel Arteta came out of any kind of credentials yesterday? Because we know your feelings on Mikel Arteta, and you're entitled to him, mate. Do you know what I mean? We don't want robots around here. That's how you feel. That's how you feel, and you're very honest with your views. But just wondering how you feel after yesterday. If you've got any, if you're edging closer towards warming towards Mikel Arteta, much in the same way that I am with Granit Xhaka, which you missed earlier when I professed that I'm warming to him. So let's know how you feel about yesterday, mate. I'm interested.
Right. Why not is letting us know about that. Stan, give us some candidates for a man in the match. I'm going to go right off the bat with Thomas Partey. I've already laid down the gauntlet there for me.
Yeah, because he did go about his business very well yesterday. Not just not just the goal, but I think there's a few candidates. I thought Gabriel Jesus had a very good day at the office as well.
Yep.
I thought Martinelli had a very good day as well.
And listen, when you can't decide,
Saliba had a very good day. Ben White had a very good day. Some of the passes that Ben White was getting the positions he was getting in. So, I mean, yeah, it's one of them ones where there's a lot of candidates. And if you want to say Thomas Partey, I'm not going to argue with you because there was somebody that was more outstanding. Do you know what I mean? Because
when you have 4 or 5 candidates, that means you've got a good team performance. You didn't have an outstanding performance.
Yeah. So if you want to give it to Partey, let's give it to Partey.
Come on, BX Gunner. You and me usually are on the same wavelength. Song's terrible. Really? Not everything helps. Don Juan loves it. All right, Don Juan. 1 vote for Ray there. Let me know in the comments as well. I'd be interested in the comment section if you're watching this on playback. What do you think of that song? Does it help with the atmosphere? I know it's North London derby, and the atmosphere is granted. It's going to be there, Stan, right? North London derby. You're always going to bring it. But we need it for 18 or 19 other games as well.
I just feel about this song, right, that it's like a new signing. You only get like a shiny new toy, and everyone's like, "Fucking hell, that player's better than the player that we've got in that position." Because you just want to see this new thing. I think that because somebody wrote this song and submitted it to Arsenal and it got accepted, we love it. I just wish that somebody else had thought of it quicker and come up with something better. It seems like the first person that wrote an Arsenal song and submitted it was going to get accepted. That's it. No, we don't want any more. Yeah, but I've got a better one. No, too late. We're taking the first one. We've got a song. Forget it. This is our fucking song.
You know I would also like to
and an all for nothing. You see that you are talking about it. It's like, oh, this local guy's playing the song.
I'm pleased for the guys. Well, don't get me wrong. I hate the song, but I'm pleased for him. I mean, he's got his fucking, he's an Arsenal supporter. He's got his song being played over the state. Fair play to him. I'm not jealous of him. I'm glad for him. I just don't like it. Music's like comedy, right? It's subjective. It's like movies. It's subjective. It's like comedy. It's subjective. Not everyone has the same. Cup of tea, right? I write an Arsenal song, but mine's got too much human beatbox in it, so it would sound really muffled over the speakers.
Check out Gunded News' review tomorrow. He'll have that out. I really like the Icelandic slow clap as well from 2016 Euros. So Stan, you've thrown out a few nominees: Jesus, Saliba, Partey. Who are you going to settle on?
You want to give it to Partey? I'll go with that.
Yeah. All right, Tony, what have you got?
I like Martinelli and I like Partey.
All right.
So we'll just make it get unanimous with Partey. Make it easy.
Thomas Partey. And listen, the club, I think, is moving in the right way, convincing national federations to part with their player and bring Partey back early was definitely key in winning this game.
Wenger used to do that. He did that several times.
I think Wenger used to butt heads with federations as well a little bit.
Yeah, because he'd so much want him to stay and piss him off. They're like, no.
Don Juan said, Conte just found out what it's like to play an Arsenal side without Cedric, Holding, Almani, and Lacazette. It's October 2022. Tottenham fans in New York. Yeah, look, all we can hope is when we go to their place, whatever the hell they call that stadium now, that we have a team, a toilet bowl, a team much better than we had in May, and we're not suffering from injuries. I think majority of match-going fans love the song. It adds to the atmosphere. Any little bit that helps. Anthony Taylor. Listen, I wasn't unhappy when Anthony Taylor was the man of the match. You know Paul Tierney's going to be the man of the match at their place, right? As he was in May. I will give it to Xhaka just to upset Tony. Special mention for Granit Xhaka. Got it. Dan, want to have Tina Turner song with some hip-hop. There we go.
Who knows?
Why not? Why not? Happy about the win. Happy to keep up tradition. Spuds with no joy. Our home. Happy Arteta didn't break another negotiable or a long forgotten bad record. Not happy he's here.
Okay.
If he starts bringing you some more silverware, let's not forget he's won an FA Cup. Performance can still do with improvements. Manchester City would say that as well. Why not? I believe. We still need more goals, says Tony. Okay. We found the friend indeed there, Tony. All right. What we got? 7 wins. Dan, not bad, right? 7 wins, 1 loss, 20 goals for, 8 against.
66 points is I get you 4-3.
I know, but I told you before, that's my math. Let's get to 66 by April. Can we do that?
Can we just get rid of your little percentage thing here?
No. No. That's my non-negotiable, Tony. That's my non-negotiable. All right. What are we going to do next? We've got a couple of little things, Stan. I want to ask you and Tony and people in the chat box before I'm not going to put this up in a second. All right. There's our October coming up. But what I wanted to pose to you and Tony is to be or not to be is the question. It sounds like Hamlet, right?
Yeah. Whether it be in the slings of arrows. Sorry.
Well, slings and arrows. You remember all that, right? Whether it is nobler. Anyway, to be or not to be, Stan. Progressive or pragmatic? Do you see
what do you mean?
Going here?
What do you mean?
What I mean is you get 3 points for 1 win, and you get the same amount of points for 3 draws. And if we're going to take on City, maybe not this season, but in coming seasons, if we're going to take on City, we have to get to seasons where we win 30 games in a season. Right? You have to get to around 90 points. And you're not going to get to 90 points by just taking a draw. I'm talking about the Manchester United game, maybe Liverpool next weekend. We're 1-1 at home. Would you rather be progressive and go and win the game?
Yeah, I'd rather be. I think Liverpool are no longer the bastion that they were. You know, you go back a couple of seasons and you had Liverpool coming up on the fixture list, you'd be like, oh, okay, so maybe we don't win that one. But who are we playing after that one? Can we pick up the 3 points after that one? You kind of almost skip over it. But You know, I'm sure
Yeah.
that in the last couple of seasons, when the opposition was seeing Arsenal coming up on the fixture list, whether it was at their place or at our place, exactly, they'd be like, "Oh, okay, you know, we've had a bad little run here, but the
We've got
next game
Arsenal coming up. Yeah.
they can help us, like, you know, help us reset again." You
All
know?
right, the Europa League's going to take care
But
of
I think
itself.
that's changed now for us, right? I don't see teams don't look at us like that now.
Nope.
And
No,
in the
they're
same
gonna
way
fear
that teams aren't looking at Liverpool and thinking, "Oh no, 3 points we're not going to lose. Who are we playing after that?" They're right for the picking.
us.
Everybody can feel it. When you can feel it, it's more. You know what I mean? It gives you the confidence to go out and do it.
Okay, so do you see where I'm going with this? Because we lost that goal, we lost the penalty because we were progressive, right? We were trying to go forward and win that game yesterday. We lost the penalty because of Xhaka, because of Partey, because of Gabriel's challenge. Being progressive, though,
You forgot the high line, right?
you're going to end the high line. That's defending. That was defending, you know? So my point of view is we need to get 3 points every weekend, not sit back for 1 point. Mourinho's not going to win the league, right? Playing like Mourinho's not going to win the league. Playing like Conte isn't going to win the league. But if you play like Liverpool, like Klopp, where you know you have to win 30 games in a season, we may not do it this season, but let's prepare as we mean to go on.
I don't see Mikel Arteta as being a pragmatic person,
No.
and even down to apparently, like, you know, when you at Arsenal now, when you come on as a substitute, you don't just amble onto the pitch and take up your position. You run onto the pitch with intensity. Do you know what I mean? It's little things like that. It's a little bit like when you see boxers when they're at the end of the round, instead of going to their corner and slumping down on the stool and breathing out of their arse and drinking loads of water and having all of that going on, some boxers do just walk back to the corner and they stand up against the ropes while they talk to their corner people. Yeah. Imagine if you're the opposition looking at that, you're like, "Fucking hell, I'm knackered. Look at him.
Yeah,
he ain't even sat down." It's that kind of mentality. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Well, listen, I want to get this addressed. 66 points is easy for the math. I want to get to 66 points, not by the end of the season, by April. I want to have like 5 or 6 games to go so we can get to the late 70s. I predict we can get into the late 70s or 80s.
Go after him, Steven. Get him.
So anyway, 66 points is just a benchmark, you know, like Liverpool are a benchmark, like City are a benchmark.
What's the fucking bench made out of?
Straw.
Lots of W's in there. So Arnie's on the same page as me, I think. But we need to play. We're playing as we mean to go on, Stan. We may not be good enough to get 90 points this season or win 30 games. And I'll go to you as well, Tony. But this is the mentality now that we're going to be going for. We're not going to sit back and wait for a draw. We're going to try and win games.
People probably didn't think that Leicester was capable of winning a Premier League title.
Yeah,
they did though, didn't they? They didn't win because Liverpool weren't playing that season, or Man City weren't playing that season, or Liverpool, you know, or whatever. They won the league. So who knows? It's all about taking care of business.
Can I just say one thing as well? We're not going to play Manchester City 38 times this season. We're going to play Manchester City twice. And that's the only time they're going to affect us and we're going to affect them. How we do in the league is not dependent necessarily on how we face up with Manchester City. It's how we face up with the rest of the teams in the league. And it's about consistency, Tony. I'm not sitting here saying for 1 second we're going to beat Manchester City to a league title. But it's about our consistency this season, Tony.
Well, in seasons past, you've seen it, especially last year, where he'd set up conservatively against City, conservatively against Liverpool or whatever, instead of going out, playing your style. And that's what you have to do. If this is a way you're to play, go out there and play it instead of play to your advantage, instead of sitting there playing to their style. You have to do your style.
Okay. So
but also on this, you got to be pragmatic because we got to thin.
No.
No.
You can't have two different mentalities.
You have to be pragmatic because you got a thin squad. You got to get through the whole race. So you have to rest your players. You got to substitute them, right? Which we're still not doing. But as far as playing your style and that, yeah, be progressive, go out there to win.
I'm talking about a mentality that.
Thing is though, right?
Thing is though,
right, Tony. Right? If you go that route, that pragmatic route where you start resting players and stuff like that for and trying to really play it too cute. What happens when you see a fixture coming up against, say, I don't know, Nottingham Forest? I just pick them out of the bag, and you think, oh,
yeah,
okay,
but I'm talking more.
Hold on, and I think you think, okay, we got a European game coming up after that one. Do you know what I mean? Let's put a weakened side out for that Nottingham Forest game, and save some players for the next game that's coming up. That's a pragmatic approach. But what happens if you get undone on that day, and you don't get the result, and for whatever happens, you draw or you lose? I'm sure that you will be one of the first people, Tony, would go, why the fuck was he playing such and such? And why the fuck wasn't he playing such and such? I mean, we deserved it.
That's not what I'm talking about, Stan.
But you would
you
do
got
that.
5 substitutions. You got 5 subs.
Mm-hmm.
Make use of them. Rest the players.
So
why should Xhaka be playing 80, 90 minutes?
Let's take Manchester United away as an example, right? And we'll talk about Manchester United because we tried to play progressive. I thought maybe we got a little bit excited. I think we're learning. I think we learned in the short term, even in the game yesterday, with that Manchester United defeat. But I'm not against the idea of we're 1-1 and we're going to go and try and win the game. Now, we didn't win the game in the end because we got found out through a couple of breakdowns. Something's going on in chat, right? Stan? What's your thought?
I was just laughing at Riddy's comment. It was getting a little bit like the House of Commons there, wasn't it? Mr. Speaker.
Love it when Stan says, hold on, and stops Tony's interruption. Well, listen, it's easier to listen to one person at a time than 2 at the same time. That's all I'm saying. But listen, I'm on Tony.
I was trying to convey my point.
Tony, I want to.
Hold on, Tony.
I want to get from you. You have to have a definitive answer, Tony. The mentality of the team. Do you want it to be progressive or pragmatic on the whole?
On the whole, you want it to be progressive because you want to go out there, go balls to the wall, play your style. You've seen what our style is now. Finally. Found an identity. You keep out there and do that instead of sitting back. Oh, we're to try to just counterattack City. No, go out there and fucking attack them.
How do you
see that one? You seen that one? Albert coached them last year.
So if you were telling your mate, come and support Arsenal, this is their style of play. How would you characterize the style of play now, Tony? We play good football.
It's definitely attacking because you got your fullbacks going into attack. Got a lot of guys pushing forward.
Big up Ray, Tony, and Stanley. Been busy with a new and negotiating time. Hope you're all blessed. And Wenger won FA Cups. He got sacked. No different for this guy. I hold no favourites bar the badge. It wasn't just that. It was like your league form as well, which really hurt Wenger in the end. You can win. We became a cup team in about 5 or 6 years ago. Defensively improved still, and conversion of chance. I agree, Tony. We do need to convert better. But yeah, and broadly, Stan, if we all want to win a league title at the end of the day. We want to compete with Manchester City, and it's about consistency. It's about beating Liverpool. It's about beating Man United. It's about beating Chelsea and all of those other teams below them.
Yeah, and my main man in the chat there, right, Melvin says, and he's spot on. If you start with a much weakened squad and things aren't going to plan, and you put a much better players at say half time, sometimes the damage is already done.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Sometimes, and this is what I like about the way that we're playing. We are starting every game on the front foot. It seems like this is our way of playing. Just what I was saying, just like what I was saying a moment ago about substitutions coming onto the field and running onto the pitch of intensity and ambling. That's how we start our games. We are a very, very progressive team now, and it's good to see that we're beginning to maintain the energy for much more longer periods of time in the 90 minutes. We used to start blowing out of our asses in the second half, didn't we? Start really tough and on the front foot. And I suppose it's taken a lot of time for the players physically to get up to speed and be able to adapt. And the more that we keep on doing this, the more that the training happens, you're going to see that for 90 minutes, we're able to maintain being on the front foot for much more longer periods of time. We have more gas in the tank.
Yeah. Brady said it all depends if we can keep players injury free, especially with an annoying World Cup in the middle. Tony, this would be like no season we'll ever experience before or after because of the World Cup. It's going to present unique situations in terms of players' fitness. I think we were just talking about it before we came on.
I don't
We
get
got
where
Brazilians.
October's going to be tough besides your playing. We said win every league game except for Liverpool. It's the only one you should drop points to.
We're going to have Brazilian players going deep. We're going to have English players going deep in the competition.
That's what I'm saying. Rest the players. Bring them off 20 minutes, 25 minutes to go.
Don Juan is right. October is going to get tough. I see it this way. It's going to get tough for Liverpool. The next weekend is going to be a tough game. But then actually the games might get a little bit easier because you're playing weaker opposition. You're playing Leeds away from home. Admittedly, you're playing Southampton away from home. Could October get easier for us after next weekend, Tony?
Yeah, that's what I was looking at the schedules about 5-10 minutes ago, and like I said, October besides Liverpool should be easy. Besides you're playing 2 games a week.
That's the only thing. You're going to be playing those games, right? Bodo, Liverpool will be the tough one, so we really should see a much changed team against Bodo. We'll get into that just at the end of the podcast. Liverpool next weekend should be a strong team. And then from there, we play Leeds away from home. They weren't great in that 0-0 draw that Gary was at. So they're going through a tough stretch. We need those 3 points, Mr. Tom. Sorry. Southampton away from home is always a difficult fixture. But that's one that we want to get revenge for. The players should remember Southampton. For you and I know you were coming after me in Easter for that Southampton defeat. I still have scars from you, Tony, coming after me for that defeat.
Ray almost filed for a divorce after I sent him a message.
I was forlorn when we were beaten by Southampton, Stan. The third of those 3 defeats in April.
Sorry, say again?
Last season when we were beaten by Southampton, that was the lowest point in the season for me. Yeah.
Yeah, those little run of the 3 games and that, we should have been able to pick up points there.
Yeah. What we're saying while you're away for a second, October's after next weekend, and we're going to come on live after the Liverpool game. Will be Raw, and next Sunday after whatever happens, we'll be either up, down, or somewhere in the middle. But after Liverpool, we got Leeds away, we got Southampton away, we got Forest at home. October gets a little bit easier after Liverpool.
A little bit. Gets a hell of a lot easier.
On paper, but you can never call it, right?
Yeah.
We've just got to keep doing what we've been doing and not get complacent and not start. I don't want the players looking at the fixture list and thinking, oh, it's going to have a few easy games coming up. I don't want them thinking that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Don Juan says he really wants to beat Liverpool. Why not says every team needs cloggers and shithouse, not Xhaka. That's reckless. Question from Arnie here. And yeah, throw in some questions if you've got them. Some fans wanted Conte as a manager. Do you want to see Arsenal play like that? No.
No, not at all.
And look, at once Stan and I we were always kind of on the same page here. Once the club appointed Mikel Arteta, we were always going to give him a chance. Now, we did a 50-50 and we swayed vastly, probably similarly thinking as well, Stan. We were like 20-80 when
points, yeah. 20% that we wanted, 20% that we wanted him to stay, 80% we'd like to see him out the door.
Yeah. But now we know it's strongly the other way now.
Oh yeah.
I'm like 95-5, something like that. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
So there we go. Now let's get through a few more comments. And I got one more thing to talk about. Can we beat City? Have this in your mind. Can we stay with City for most of the season? Can we beat them to the title? Just asking the question. And if it's gonna be a procession, how far behind City do you think is a good, respectable distance to be in second place? Let's say.
Well, they got that. They got the key decider, ain't they? They got Haaland, man. I mean,
Here's the thing, though.
he really is the difference maker at the moment. Unless he picks up an injury.
Well, here's the thing. For all that Haaland has done right now, City still sit 1 point behind us because they've drawn 2 games more, and we've won one of those games.
Where the benefit that City has over us, a much vaster squad of vaster riches to choose from.
Yeah.
They're probably a team that can afford to be a little bit more pragmatic at times. They're a team that can look at the fixture list and sort of work out teams in advance because they've got so many of them.
Yeah,
of good quality as well.
I'll definitely buy this from Don Juan. I think we can replace Liverpool as City's main title challengers. Now, Liverpool have been a couple of points off of them. I'm not saying we're going to be in that position at the end of the season. But let's think about how many points would be respectable to be behind City in second place. You want me to go first? I've got a number in mind. 12 points, I think, would be respectable. For this Arsenal side to be behind City by 12 points after 38 games, I don't think that's a bad shout. And let me know what you think in the chat box there while you're both thinking about it. Tony, first of all, City, other teams know that they can go after City now. They're not. I mean, they're pretty decent, but notwithstanding Haaland and all that stuff, they are a pretty decent side. Pretty good side, and they should win the league. How many points do you think we could be behind them?
How many could we or should we or
give me all of your scenarios so you don't have a get out clause.
Okay. We should be within 3 points of them
at the end of the season.
No, going into World Cup. So we should strengthen then. We should strengthen the club, make it easier to do a run-in, which we didn't do last season. We won the games we needed to and did fuck all in January. January's going to be our make or break because you're going to have FA Cup games, you're going to have Europa knockout games, you're going to have League Cup, you're going to have fixtures coming at you left and right, and we're a very thin squad. So most likely, City's get out there and get more points out, probably closer to 10. But if we did the right moves, we could keep that within 6 points, 5 to 6 points.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, I don't think we should finish any more than 10 points behind them.
Okay. How many points do you think City will be? Like 80-some points, probably. 82, 85, and you want to be 10 points behind them, about 75 for us, right? Something like that.
75 to 78. Somewhere.
Okay. Did we get a full answer there? Yeah, we got all the scenarios from Tony, Stan, right?
Yeah, I'll agree with the both of you. I'd say somewhere between 10 and 12 would be respectable. If you put it into matches, that's like 4 matches, but 4 matches behind them in losses. If you want to look at it like that, simplify it.
Yep. Okay. Yes, we can, says Arnie. I just get a draw at their stadium and win it once. Look, there won't be a situation where Haaland gets 50 goals and they're not the league champions, right?
Could be. It's possible.
Haaland gets 50 goals and comes second in the league.
Possible.
It would be nice, right? As long as he can score 6-0 and then draws here and there. Don Juan's right. City will get about 88 points around there. They're going to drop a few points. Why not said? For Liverpool to be behind City respectably is 1 or 2 points. For us right now, 5 to 8 points is respectable. Yeah, you have to look at the respective squads. Would you say why not that we're in a position to win the title? Probably not. But we're moving in the right direction to where we can talk about being second.
The problem is we got the right first team. We just don't have enough depth there. We got a starting 11. We just don't have the depth.
Mm-hmm. I think Melvin is betting without the winners there. I think that's called.
Because what the fuck happens if Jesus goes out? Then we got Eddie and Kedia that hasn't scored a goal this season.
I think City might look at Haaland and say, what would they do without Haaland if he gets injured? He does have an injury record. I don't know if you saw the funny Paddy Power thing going around about the guy going in, the Arsenal fan going into work on Monday. And he's trying to convince himself that we're going to win the league, but not outwardly saying it. He's saying it to himself. Yeah, City are going to win the league, but he's probably like in his inside voice is saying Haaland could get injured, So this is Arsenal fans.
Yeah, you have to remember when I hosted, right? I said we would finish second.
City will get 90 minimum with Haaland have a good chance to go undefeated. True. I just think they're a little bit more vulnerable as well. I think teams, it's become a more competitive league in the top half of the table. So I think anything else on progressive or pragmatic, I think we need to be shaping as if we can win or try to win 30 games in a season. It may not happen this season, but we need to prepare for that and get better with windows. Stan, you had something?
No, I'm good.
Anything else to bring forward or to recap about it before we say goodnight to everyone? Get into final thoughts?
I think that's about it, really.
Yeah, it's just really, really good. The unity we're seeing within the club, within the supporters, within the stadium. Of course, it's easy, right? When you're winning games, things are easy,
The only thing I kind of have to bring up is this month we'll kind of see what we have because we're going to have that 2 to 3 games a week, which we'll have the rest of the season.
Yeah.
After the World Cup break. So we'll see what we have. We got the quality. It's just the number of it's the problem. Wish we had more depth. Definitely think we need a second striker. Hopefully that's something we do in January. But we definitely can finish second, challenge them. But we're going to have to do some busy work in January.
All right. A quick word about Bodo then, Stan and Tony. Stan, do you want to see a largely changed side for Thursday night? Keep everything fresh for next weekend?
I don't know. I mean, I don't even know where Bodo is.
Bodo Glimt.
What planet was that on? What star system is that in?
Ask Mr. Greenwood. They're from
the Norwegian side, the Scandinavian side.
Oh, okay. I mean,
Europa League, match day 2.
Know nothing about them, So, why shouldn't I think that I know nothing about them? So we're going to smash them.
Tony,
don't even know what kind of kit
they're a pretty decent team.
They're a pretty decent team, but we should go and beat them. Take control of the group. We've got 2 games against Bodo now. Will put us in a really good position before 2 games against PSV. The season is at a quarter point. Arsenal are in first place. We are top of the league. Say we are top of the league. Let's enjoy this season of the youthful team, Tony and Stan. So thanks for joining, lads. And we shall reconvene on Thursday night. We'll have a game to talk about with Bodo. Stan's going to read up a little bit more about Bodo. We'll send them lots of information. I'll send
just ask Mr. Greenwood. He'll give you all you need to know about it.
It'll be in your next package, Stan, along with the blue M&M.
Do me a quick favor as well. Before we go, Melvin, put your channel in the chat box for us, because if there's any Gooners out there that want to learn more about the history of Arsenal, there's probably nobody better placed that I know than my man Uncle Melvin Marks. And if you go, I think is it over and over again or same old Arsenal? No, it's over and I think it's over and over.
I think he does a segment with Richard.
Over and over again on Guns and Yellow Ribbons. I always get the 2 podcasts mixed up, but whichever one it is, Melvin's doing a show on there, which I keep meaning to check out, but I haven't been able to due to my work schedule. And if you want to find out stuff about Arsenal from way back when and get a little bit of the knowledge up, you should check it out because he knows what he's talking about, man. I mean, he tells me stuff about Arsenal that I didn't even know existed. So you know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to know stuff about it, check out what Melvin's doing. So I can't remember if it's Over and Over Again or Guns and Yellow Ribbons.
I think it's Over and Over Again. And,
with
like,
Rich.
Oh, Melvin, help us out.
With Rich.
Because I only go so far. Stan only goes so far. And I knew that stat about Ian Rush not being beaten. When Ian Rush scored, Liverpool were unbeaten until that Little Woods Cup final with 2 goals from Arsenal. Good stuff, lads. Don't forget Tony. Tony, Xhaka is the king of the Emirates, okay? The redemption story, Tony. You're going to get an interview from this redemption story. There's going to be another Amazon documentary about this, Tony, and you'll be asked for your comments.
Yeah, I'll ask where he was for fucking 6 years of his career.
Remember, London is red as always. Up the Arsenal. Come on, you Gooners. Over and over again, where Rich says. Listen, if anyone wants to drop in and say hello at the end of the show here when the lights go dark, I have dropped the link to come in and say hello. But until then, we will see you on Thursday. London is red. We beat the scum 3-1.
Yeah.
Everybody's happy, right?
Kings of London.
Kings of London. And Partey is your Don Juan man in the match. Take care, everyone. October, the hunt for Red October continues. Take care, everyone.